I really like these rear tail lamps in the LEDs, and you have confidence because you've got that power. If you need to put your foot down coming out of a junction, easy done. Hello everyone and welcome to the Carcode YouTube channel. If you're new here, please make sure to hit the subscribe button down below for more new car reviews and car content every single week. Today I am joined by the MG3 Hybrid Plus, MG's cheapest car, and it's a full hybrid as well. Earlier in the year I checked this out at the Geneva Motor Show, but today I've got the opportunity to drive it and look at it in depth on a UK specification car. So big thanks to Lancaster MG for making this video possible. All of their links are down in the description below. If you want to see my quick overview of the MG3 from Geneva, you can click up there to watch that video. So let's start with the exterior design of the MG3. Starting at the front of the vehicle, it looks completely different from the outgoing model. You've got these headlights which are similar to those on the MG4. It looks a bit different from the MG4, of course. It's got a grille as it does have an engine, so it does need that air intake. Somehow you've got sportier bumpers down here, this sort of carbon effect here, and that all looks the same whether you go for a trophy or the entry-level SE model. These lights are quite nice. They're kind of Hyundai-esque, they kind of remind me of that. The grille reminds me of earlier Peugeots as well, so there's a little bit of everything going on there, whereas this bit at the top, that reminds me of the MG4. So lots of little cues from different cars. Overall though, I do think it's quite stylish, and I do like the proportions, especially at the side of it. It's more of an elongated hatchback rather than a shorter vehicle. All models feature these LED daytime running lights. On the SE you get halogen projector headlights, and on this trophy you get LED headlights. I'll show you those now. Looks really nice, and those are on the trophy model. To the side of the MG3 Hybrid Plus, I think this is one of the best angles, as you've got the longer shaped body rather than a shorter stubby sort of small hybrid that you see on like the Toyota Yaris and Honda Jazz. It looks more like a conventional hatchback. You've got these nice lines that go through. This has got keyless entry, as of course it is the trophy model. You won't notice a massive amount of changes on the outside between the two, the SE and the trophy. Trophy also gives you the tinted windows at the back, keyless entry, the LED headlights, and you'll also notice the little cameras on the mirrors for the 360-degree camera system. I definitely recommend the trophy model. It gives you a lot of equipment for that extra £2,000, starting at £20,495. Whereas SE starts at £18,495. It will also hold its value a little bit better as well, the trophy, as obviously it's a bit more of a desirable vehicle having those extra features on it. What colours can you have the MG3 Hybrid Plus in? Well, there's 6 different options to choose from. This is the standard Arctic white, which looks really nice, suits the look of the car very well. Metallic colours start at £545. You've got the black pearl, which again looks really nice, and obviously all the black trim blends in really lovely to that car. Hampstead grey is £545. That should be a very popular choice. Dark grey is very popular at the moment. My personal favourite of them all, the bee is loving this car. My personal favourite of them all is the Battersea Blue, which I saw at Geneva. It's kind of the flagship colour for the car. That looks really great. You've also got Monument Silver, look quite good in silver, even a little bit plain. And last but not least, you've got the £695 option of dynamic red. So if you like metallic red, you'll like that colour. And not a huge red fan myself, but that would work for some people. I like the Battersea Blue the most, and the Arctic White looks great as well. The standard colour does look a nice clean look to the car, and I've not seen any of these about. I've seen the grey, I've seen the Battersea Blue, and I've seen the dynamic red, but I've not seen any of these Arctic White models on the road as of yet. Alloy wheels on the MG3 Hybrid Plus, it's very simple to explain. On SE and trophy models you get these 16-inch diamond cut alloy wheels as standard. They look great, I really like the design they've gone for with these sort of holes in them. Almost remind me kind of Alfa Romeo look in a way, but a bit more angular, and then you've got a really chunky decent sidewall. As standard they come with Kumho budget tyres on them. It's been a dry day today and I've felt the grip's been absolutely fine, but some people complain that in colder conditions, icier conditions and wet roads, that these budget tyres aren't the best. It's a shame they don't put some good European tyres on it from factory, but again, you are buying a budget vehicle. One thing you could do to pizzazz these wheels up, if you don't like them a lot, you could get them in a tinted gloss, which would look great, something that Honda does on their Jazz Crossstar, for example, and I think that would look a really nice look. You can get that done at most body shops for quite cheap. In fact, Cox Motor Group has got their very own alloy fix site, which is just around the corner from MG. That's where I got my wheels tinted, the gloss tinted, and now they're sort of a dark grey, and they look really cool. So I'll overlay what that could look like, because I think that'd look really cool in the tinted glaze. But as standard, they look great, and they're on SE and Trophy, these wheels. Nice that they haven't gone for massive wheels. To the rear of the MG3 Hybrid Plus, you've got a very Mazda-like design. It looks very much like Mazda 3s of past and Mazda 2s as well. Quite a nice look. Of course, this is the tinted glass on the Trophy model, and you get rear sensors on all models as well. Unfortunately, front sensors are not on any models, but you get the 360 cameras on the Trophy model. I really like these rear tail lamps in the LEDs in the dark cherry red colour. Lots of manufacturers are going for a clear tail lamp now, so the lenses are clear rather than red, and it just doesn't work on some vehicles. So I'm glad they stayed true and just stayed classic, traditional red tail lamps. Look really nice and really suit the look of the car. And yeah, overall, just a nice smart look. Your badge is just in silver, and then whatever colour your car's in just comes through underneath. So I think what everyone has been waiting for is for me to drive this, so let's get out on the road. So then, let's take the MG3 Hybrid Plus for a little drive and see what it's like. Smooth off the line, put my foot down to 30, and it just feels very smooth overall. So it's got a 1.5 naturally aspirated engine with a 3-speed auto and a 1.83 kilowatt hour hybrid battery. Now, if you're used to plug-in hybrids and electric cars, that might sound absolutely like a tiny battery, but it's actually double the size of a Toyota Yaris, so that's really, really decent. Compared to mild hybrid, a Ford Fiesta's got a 0.5 kilowatt hour battery, so it's more than 3 times bigger than that car. Off the line speed is pretty good, with 0 to 62 in just 8 seconds. It's very impressive, and it's what we'd normally see from 1.8 or 2 litre hybrid powertrain. It's not a 1.5. Something that makes the MG3 Hybrid Plus quite unique is the engine setup. You've got a 4-cylinder 1.5 litre naturally aspirated engine with the hybrid powertrain together. So this puts out about 100 brake horsepower, as does the electric motors. It goes together for 192 brake horsepower combined output, and that 0 to 60 in just 8 seconds, which is very impressive. It's all to the front wheels, so unlike the electric MG4, which is rear wheel drive, this powers the front wheels only. This wasp keeps following me. Insects love this car. So very impressive hybrid powertrain actually. It's quite interesting and quite unique. It's got a 3-speed automatic gearbox as well, rather than a CVT. So yeah, it does feel a little bit smoother, and it is quite responsive as well. Especially going from 0 to 40, for example, you hardly ever get noise. So if you do a lot of town driving, this could be a great option for yourself, especially if you want something that's a little bit nippy and doesn't feel sluggish. This is a really good option. So this is your engine. A really good setup actually. The electric motor's doing quite a lot, and that 1.8 kilowatt hour battery is really large for a small hybrid. So they've done a great job here. The bonnet is just on a strut, but it is quite light, which is great. There's 3 levels of regen braking. There isn't any paddles for the regen, and that would have been a nice touch. That's something that we see on the Honda Jazz, and I do like that feature on that car. Oh, here we go. Energy regeneration high. 3 settings of regen. So there's low, medium, and there's high. I've put it in high. Come off the accelerator in high regen. It's very good actually, and it tells you what you're gaining back basically. It does what it says on the tin. It is quite a high regen. When you originally first come off with high regen, it doesn't slow down immediately. It takes a few seconds. When you restart the car, it resets what regen mode you put it in, which is a little annoying. Does it drive like an electric car? Not quite, no. You can still feel the engine, but it's a nice smooth hybrid. A normal auto petrol can be quite jerky at the slower speeds, but this doesn't have that issue. The digital dial is very easy to read. You've got all your info on there as well, which is great. I've been averaging 61.4 miles per gallon so far, and that's pushing it a little bit. That's over 5.5 miles. That's very good. It's like a warm hatch. It's not a hot hatch level, but it's not a slow, luggish car at all. It's very good. In terms of its responsiveness and power, the hybrid car I've driven that feels most similar to it is probably a Honda Civic, and that's a much more expensive car than this. Very good, so well done, MG. Actually, pretty fun to drive on these back roads. Handles well in the corners, the steering's quite direct as well and sharp. Okay, the engine kicked in there and did hang on to the revs a little bit, but nothing too bad. Then it gets a bit loud there when I got to 50. So it's not quiet all of the time, but most of the time it's quiet. I've not really felt that it kicked down so much. Yeah, it's smooth. It doesn't really roar like a normal hybrid would. We're up to national speed limit now, so I'll be able to go 70 and show you what it's like, what it'll be like on a motorway. So it makes a bit of a noise there. And between 60 and 70, it's not as fast, but that was fast there, or 74 there, and that's very fast. There is quite a bit of road noise, but it's not awful. And obviously, I'm just speaking here in a car in silence, and that's not normally what you'd do. You'd normally have some music on. Really nice amount of regen, I think, as well. It's nice. It's sort of like putting the car into a lower gear if you were in a manual. And this will be coming in a normal petrol manual soon as well, which will start from around 15 grand, so it should be a good affordable option for many people. These 16-inch alloys do soak up the lumps and bumps a lot, and they're on the SE and Trophy for now. We may see different alloys come in the future. I can imagine some people wanting a slightly bigger wheel just for a sportier look, but I think these look really nice actually. Like I say, it corners well as well. It's quite sharp and then nice and smooth. We're in EV mode now, and you can harvest quite a bit of that energy back, which is good. Something's pulled out in front of me. It slows down nicely. The engine doesn't seem to kick in at times when it shouldn't need to. It was only when I was pushing it when it was like making noise really. Otherwise it's not making much of a fuss at all. It's being quite settled. The seats are quite supportive and comfortable. It's quite an ergonomically designed car actually. Everything's kind of where you'd want it to be, which is really good. The screen is slightly facing away from me, but it's nothing major. Widgets and stuff, they tried to make it look aesthetically pleasing, but it's kind of hard to read, really. Don't know what that beat was, that was horrible. And your auto holds great with the electronic handbrake, that's all really good. The mirrors are nice and big as well, so it's easy to see, although there's a lot of extra plastic on them. Again though, affordable car. It doesn't feel mega cheap. And I like how it is not too high up. It's a nice height. If you do want something a little bit higher up though, with a bigger boot, a bit more practical, I'd definitely recommend the Nissan Juke. I think that's a great car for that. I need to get used to the buttons, but a lot of this is a case of getting used to. The visibility is quite good, and you have confidence because you've got that power. If you need to put your foot down coming out of a junction, easy done. Put it into park and the handbrake comes on, so that's great. Okay, so inside the MG3 Hybrid Plus, what's it like? Well, they're quite similar whether you go for an SE or a Trophy. However, this Trophy gives you the leather-wrapped hexagonal steering wheel, which is much nicer than a plastic steering wheel, 100%. You also get part imitation leather and cloth instead of full cloth, so that's nice. You get a dark headline in both cars and this 10.25-inch touchscreen in both vehicles as well. So that's really good. You've got navigation, nice padded dash. You have this checkered pattern along here as well. Really nice. It kind of goes through the seats. It's a slightly different look though. Nice, this 7-inch instrument cluster is on both models too. So you've got everything. I'll show you the cameras now. You can actually like customize these buttons as well to what you want them to do, the little star ones. This star one's been set up for the cameras, which is great. You can look at the different views, look at the back view, side view, on both side, above view. So pretty good, the 360 cameras. I'd definitely go for the Trophy. I think the SE is just for that headline price of under 20 grand, 18,495. Looks really great, and obviously MG's a budget brand, so that's why they've done that. But the Trophy is the definitely one to go for. It's actually easier to get hold of. There's more Trophies out there. Most of the demos you'll find at the garages are Trophies as well. So Trophy is the one to go for. I'd say you get this nice orange stitching on all the cars as well, which is really cool. You have these shortcuts for the climate, for example. So climate is on this control, which to be honest is quite easy to control. Better if you had physical. You don't have wireless charging either, but you can't have everything. You got the electronic handbrake, which is great. So yeah, overall I am quite impressed with it. It doesn't feel mega cheap. There is cheaper materials about, but it feels quite similar to an MG4. I mean, this is all quite cheap plastic, but I quite like this checkered effect here, and then this leather look is really nice around the dash as well. So they've done a good job interior. Seats are quite comfortable. I'm not sure how they'd be if they were full fabric. They might not be as supportive on the SE model, but these are good. You've got this armrest as well with this slidable tray here too, which is not bad at all. It all looks to the eye very quality. It's just when you go and touch things, it's not the best. But what do you expect for being the cheapest self-charging hybrid? And also the fact that it's the cheapest hybrid, but also with one of the best performance, is really impressive. So let's check out the boot on the MG3 Hybrid Plus. It's a very light tailgate, which is nice, and this lip makes it easy to pull up or down. You've got a proper parcel shelf in there. You've got quite a big lip that goes down, so if you're lifting things in, it doesn't have a false floor or anything, but it's pretty practical. It's 293 litres, which makes it bigger than in Mazda 2 Hybrid. If you want to watch my video on that car, you can click up there and you can see my review on that vehicle. Underneath here, you've got the 12-volt battery, which is actually quite a convenient place to have it. And you've got a wheel well with your tyre inflation kit in there as well. Another neat feature that's on quite a lot of cars is the little grab handle here to shut the boot. So you can shut it quite easily like that. Also, can we talk about this, how clear the indicators are? Really big, that's great. The lights on the back look great again, and those indicators really large to let everyone know exactly where you're going. They've done a great design. One thing that's not so good for practicality on the MG3 Hybrid is the fact that this is all one thing. So it looks like it could be two, but no, it is all one section. So no 60-40 split here, a little disappointing. I mean, to be honest, how often do you put the seats down in your car? It'll depend. I hardly ever, so it wouldn't really be an issue. It's the same in city cars, like the Fiat 500 has the same thing, but perhaps just a little annoying, and then the seat belts do get caught behind there as well. If you often need to fold your seats down and still have backseat passengers, then this could be a bit annoying for you. But when the seats are in place, what are they like? Well, it's quite comfortable in the back of here. The backrests are not too hard, and the seat spaces are really nice. So you've got this leather look and then fabric. Middle seat, how is that? Well, it's a little bit firmer and narrower, so it's not the comfiest, but it's not as bad as in a Honda Jazz, so that's really good. Unfortunately, you don't have a rear armrest at all, and you've just got one USB in the back of here. You do, though, have pockets in backs of both seats, which is really good, and they feel overall quite good quality as well. Feels quite roomy, you've got quite a bit of headroom. You've got a dark headlining, but it doesn't feel too dark in here, so it's not awful. Even with the tinted windows, you'd think it'd feel darker, but it's not too bad, and got loads of leg room. So practical for most people. Just that it's on a one bench thing could annoy people. I really love the ISOFIX points though in MG, how really nice and hidden away they are, and also so easy. You don't have to faff around with covers, it's literally just Velcro, and then you cover it up and it looks really neat. So such a great little solution there for ISOFIX. So then, what do I think about the MG3 Hybrid Plus? Well, I think it's a really good option if you're looking for a decent size, small hybrid vehicle. And of course, excellent price, very responsive and nice to drive. It corners well. There's not really many complaints on it, especially at its very affordable price point. I'd definitely go for this trophy model just for the extra bits of kit you get, like the 360 cameras, nicer interior, the LED lights, etc. Rear windows. Those extra additions do really add to the vehicle and definitely are worth going for. There's not a massive amount of customization options you can do with it, but that makes manufacturing very simple and easy. Again, a huge thanks to Lancaster MG for making this video possible. All of their links are down in the description down below. Of course, this comes with a 7-year warranty as well, so that's great peace of mind with a brand new vehicle. They're made by SAIC or SAIC in China. That's MG's parent company. Impressive car, definitely. Especially if you're doing a lot of town journeys and things like that, you don't need a massive boot, then this would be a really good option. It's yet to be safety tested, but I can assume because the MG4 got a 5-star, this should easily get a 4 or 5-star safety rating quite easily. Thanks again for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in my next review.